Hey,
Hello.
everybody. Hey, every week we get blasted for some plagiarism law or something. Like they say we're stealing stuff. So we're not going to ever do that. I don't think we did it before, but we're not doing it now. And so our opening from now on is just going to be improvised music every week.
By visual effects by me.
You can do some visual effects. That'll be great.
I will do the visual effects.
Come along to the Parents Show. Grab a drink and do some blow. Don't you want to be a parent on Tuesday night? I mean, we should write something eventually because that one got away. Hey, welcome to the Parents Lounge. It's the parental oasis of Tuesday night. It's your excuse, like ours, to get away from the family for just a scooch of time. I'm Jamie Kaler. I'm joined as always by my partner in crime, Mr. Jason Gowan.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How was your week?
Was this? Well, we had Father's Day.
Oh my God! You know what's funny? I totally forgot about it. Yeah, we did have Father's Day.
I got my very first homemade card from my son.
I didn't bring my card in. My happy. I'll take a photo of it. That was your first card, and tell everyone what he did to it.
He wrote. Well, he put Iron Man stickers all over it, because he knows I'm an Iron Man fan. And he
I think everybody knows you're an Iron Man fan.
Maybe. Considering our one twin is actually named after Tony Stark. So, but he wrote Happy Fat Hers Day on it. And I've never felt both so happy and excited and also fat shamed as I did by my son's card. Because I can't tell if he did it on purpose because his mother had to have helped him.
Well, I feel the same way. Like my wife does the exact same thing, and you're like, "Well, if you did help, I'm not sure you're doing this right."
And what did yours say?
I'll upload it. I'm pulling it up right now. I totally forgot. It won't go. Oh, that's why. So, how was your Father's Day, though?
Really quiet and like just a non-typical day. My kids were well behaved, and like I was like, are these the same children that were here when I went to bed? Because this doesn't seem like them. And they were, we had seafood for dinner. Like we had like a really like amazing day together. Which the next day died in a horrible crash when they returned to their normal state of being.
Yeah, yeah. Well, at least you got one day out of it. My wife is, I don't know how to explain it. I know there's love in there and she loves me, but she's so, some people are just not great at holidays.
Right.
Like I remember like she does it every year. She's like, I don't know what you want me to do. You hate gifts. You hate parties. You hate, all of a sudden it was like this like diatribe about all my faults on Father's Day. That's how Father. Like you don't like you're tough to buy anything for. There's nothing I can get you that you don't already have. Or and I'm like, again, it's Father's Day, and you're kind of pummeling me because I'm not the best person to buy for. I never understood that premise of like.
Did she consider it like a character building exercise?
I have enough character. Hey, down. What are you doing?
We've lost control of the Kaler home.
Dude, it's a mess. It's just a mess over here.
Actually, right before I came up, I heard my oldest and my wife in some sort of doom battle that when I go back down to the stairs, I have no idea what I'm going to be walking into or if they'll even still be here.
Oh, I have no idea what I'm walking into ever. I was like, you got him? She's like, I guess I got him. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if anybody else. Looking forward to another entertaining night. Well,
thanks, Rich. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, he's watching on Twitch.
We have a fantastic guest tonight. She's an old friend of mine. She's part of the Super Troopers gang. She writes on Tacoma FD. She's going to come in a few minutes, and she has a fantastic podcast as well that we'll talk about a little bit.
I promise not to bring her in early.
Is that right? I can't wait how you don't do that. But yeah. Also, you had so your Father's Day was just like your kids are still young, so the Father's Day is totally the wife's job, basically, right?
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing. He did wake me up at 4 a.m. on the dot to give me the card. And it was super dark. Yeah. And all of a sudden I just hear his voice, Daddy. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, Happy Father's Day. Here's your card. And I was like, oh my God, it's 4 a.m. But we managed.
My whole morning was the opposite. My morning was like, I woke up and I was like, hey, and I was the first one down and downstairs. And then the kids came down, nothing. They were like, hey, can I put the TV on? I was like, I guess. Then my wife came down. She made a cup of coffee. She sat next to me for like 15, 20 minutes watching TV. And she goes, oh, happy Father's Day. And I go, oh, thanks, I guess. There's no like breakfast in bed. There's no, I mean, I just was left alone to like watch golf and just kind of hang out. So it was fine, but it was like, I think you reach a certain age where once the kids were born, I don't remember even celebrating my birthday ever again. You know?
Yeah, I don't remember celebrating my birthday since they're like, I guess they sang to me. I kind of remember them singing happy birthday, like, well, at least Jace anyway. But I don't remember anything we did. Sort of a blur. I'm barely hanging on.
Yeah. I'm the same, dude. We talked about this earlier. You actually had an hour by yourself today that I did not have, I don't think.
Yeah, that was a rare gem. I got somebody to hang here at the house while I went on an errand, and I called you and I was like, I don't even know what to do with myself. It's so quiet. Like it's just a silence.
Oh, utter silence. I can't get that picture to go up, so I'm just going to show it to you, and I'm sure I can do it this way. So yeah, I should have just brought the actual thing in, but the beauty of this show is that we don't do any prep whatsoever because
none. Any prep we used to do went out the window and all the plagiarisms. Happy Father's Day, Daddy.
That's my card. That's a photo of my birthday card.
And so then your wife proofread that.
One dude commented on it. He goes, I hope those are balloons because they don't look like balloons. The way the strings are going, it looks like it's 3 sperm. And I'm like, it says Happy Father's Day, Daddy, and then it's like a bunch of sperms. It looks like, and that was my Father's Day card.
Well, I mean, at least the sperm are happy and excited.
Yeah. Here's what also happened on St. Patrick's Day or St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, Father's Day. I'm telling you, man, I'm hanging up.
Are you okay? Are you having a stroke currently?
Well, I'm doing my own show, and there's my homeschool. There's me with the kids. So
why don't you ever do our show like that? Like, why come on like that?
Yeah, the whole thing was a train wreck. So here's how Father's Day went. My daughter, they got me a chair from REI that has like this little sun shield on it. Fantastic chair, pretty great. But apparently, when they went to buy it, my daughter was running around the store like a lunatic, and she, like my wife was like, get off of that, leave that alone, don't touch that. She was touching everything. And there was, of course, a chair set up on a little stand. And there was even a thing on it that said, please don't sit on this. And of course, what does she do? She goes and sits on it. She grabs the side with her hands and sits on it. And the chair pinched, almost cut the tip of her finger off.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see the look on her face. See the purple? Like, look at her nail.
Oh my gosh.
That's after like 3 days. It almost ripped the tip of her finger off. It was crazy, dude.
Nice.
So
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. So the first day was like miserable. She was like, like screaming. I get it. Have you ever done that? I did it to my toe. Like playing soccer, I got my toe jammed in college, and I had to take a needle, heat it with a match. Have you ever done this?
I've never done it. I've seen it done, but I've never done it to me.
I had to take a match. The guy it was like 3 days later, and I couldn't walk. My foot was like boom, 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 boom. Anyone out there who's ever like smashed a nail, it's god awful. It's like the worst thing that's ever happened, and you can't stop the pain. It's like boom, 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 boom. And so I took a needle, lit it white hot, and then seared it through my nail. And it was like, it took me like 3 takes to get through it because I don't want to go all the way through and hit the skin underneath it. But I'm like, I'd light it again, and finally I broke the seal on my big toe, and this blood just shot up to my thigh, like up, and I was like, immediately I was like, oh, and then your nail grows out over like a month, and so today my wife is like, you got to take it for an X-ray because last night she couldn't sleep like all night, screaming in bed. So she slept in our bed. So that I'm kind of out of it because I'm on about an hour of sleep because she didn't sleep all night. I tried to sleep in her bed.
You had quite Like the weekend.
I've had the craziest weekend. And so today I took her, my wife's like, you got to take her for an x-ray. She goes, you got to call the place because the x-ray tech only comes in at 4. Call them to make sure the x-ray tech's in. I'm like, she doesn't need an x-ray. She needs her nail pierced. And so I go to, I call the place 3 times, straight to voicemail, straight to voicemail, straight to voicemail. So I go to the place and of course, the x-ray tech called in sick today or something. So there's no x-ray tech. I go, she doesn't need an x-ray. She needs her nail lanced is what she needs. And this older Asian woman, Dr. Cho, who was walking around she had weights on her ankles. I'm not sure if she was trying to lose weight or if she was like afraid she would drift off into space. She literally had ankle weights on it with slippers and she was shuffling around the clinic. And I take my daughter in there and she pulls this like wood burning kit thing out and I see it and I'm like, oh, this is not going to go well. And I had to lay on her and hold her hand down on. She's like screaming and pulling, and I'm like laying all of my weight on her body. She's like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. It was like Dorothy. It's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go home. And I had to hold it flat. And the nail, you saw it. It was like
yeah, not a good situation.
And the woman had this wood burning kit, and she just touched it, and boop, out, just shot everywhere. And being the good dad I am, I
videoed it.
I videotaped a little bit. She's gonna hate me for this. This is gonna be terrible, but
yeah, she won't know for at least 10 years.
Listen, this is life, and this is parenting, and this is hurt. Yeah, I can't watch any more of that. And even after I said, hey, do you want to watch the video? She goes, no, I don't ever want to see that video. Don't ever show that video to me. I don't ever want to see it. So I was really proud of her because she could have fought harder. She didn't. And like the same way that she fought through singing that we talked about, where she got up and sang, she did the same today. Because I explained to her, I said, listen, it's under there. I hope you bought her ice cream. I did. Katie, we did get ice cream and dinner. So here's what happened though. I told her for the whole week, I said, here's what's going to happen. For the next 2 days, this thing's going to throb and throb and throb. We're going to have to get it land. She's like, no, not a chance. And I explained how like immediately I felt better after it. And so immediately when it first happened, I go, you feel better? She goes, no, I don't feel better. And then I was like, I go, really? I go, but the pressure's gone. She's like, yeah, the pressure's gone, but that really hurt. And I go, yeah, I know, but it's starting to feel better. No, it feels a little bit better, but it's still really, look at your nail. You're lucky you didn't cut your finger off. Of course it still hurts, but it feels better. There's no more of the throbbing anymore. And she's like, and then within like 3 minutes, she was like, oh, I'm good. Okay. And that was pretty much the end of it. And now she's totally fine.
What a wonderful Father's Day you've had.
That nail is going to come off. And the problem is you got to keep it taped on because otherwise you're going to catch it on something and it's going to rip it and seriously hurt it. So, yeah. So that's been my Father's Day is watching your child get horribly injured.
That's intense.
I know, right? So intense. Is it bad? We'll have to, when we bring Carrie in, we'll have to ask her if that was bad. I don't know if she saw the video.
She wasn't in yet, but she might have been. Well, I'm not sure.
I mean, it's somebody, are those guys who lit us up for plagiarism? Not plagiarism, copyright laws. Now they're like calling social services on our show. Like, there's somebody else.
In their defense, it probably should have happened weeks ago that they called them.
There is I feel like there's a villain on this show. And we don't know who that villain is yet, but there's somebody like a Snidely Whiplash who's,
Dave Strait
in India, Sufadine.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Everything kind of ended once we produced the license that we actually purchased the license to some of our stuff. And then but like the full on assault, like it went on for like the whole week where they kept attacking us. Like offline, they were trying to throttle our stuff. It was crazy.
I know. You should have seen the amount of spam calls I got this week on my phone just from everywhere. It had to be those guys. Those guys they're all ganging up on us, man.
Trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
You know, you might want to. I love when you buy like a blender for like $25 or something, or a toaster, like literally just a bread toaster for like $11, and they're like, "Hey, what about a warranty?" I literally go, "Tell me about that. Tell me about the warranty on the coils, or if it stops making toast really well, I would then just bring it. But yeah, just keep the receipt for the next year and a half on that toaster that's disposable, and we'll. All right, should we bring in our guest?
Yes, we should.
All right. I love this woman. She is so funny. She's a great writer. She's currently writing on the animated show The Great North, and before that, the sitcom Tacoma FD, where I have a funny story that she did one time. But she has been in a bunch of comedies: Super Troopers 2, The Slammin Salmon, Fun Size, The Babymakers. She's appeared in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, The Office, Bob's Burgers, Comedy Bang Bang, Longmire. She is hilarious, and she's a great mom. Please welcome Carrie Clifford. Woo!
Welcome.
Hey, buddy.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
You also have a super popular podcast that is not comedic in tone, from what I understand.
It's not comedic in tone at all, but there's other things that need to be talked about in the world.
Can we give it one quick shout out before? We're not going to go down the rabbit hole, but name the podcast.
Yeah, so it's called Hard Candy and Fruit Snacks, and it's basically, I grew up outside of Boston, and we had this busing system where they bused inner city kids out to school in our suburbs, and so one of those then kid, now adults, is a friend I've been friends with since third grade, and so we've just kind of reunited to talk about race and privilege, disadvantage. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like crazy to reflect on stuff, and now things that didn't seem weird at the time, and now you're like, oh, that was totally wrong, but anyway.
I know, but from a comic talking about cancel culture, like you see somebody was like, oh, listen, I don't remember wearing blackface at a party, but I definitely as a kid like dressed as a hobo.
Right.
I had the little stick, the bindle over my shoulder, and they were like, "Who are you?" And I go, "I'm a hobo. I'm going to catch a train." So what you're saying is you're a homeless guy. Were you a homeless person for Halloween? I totally was.
And that's so funny because a hobo was like a pretty like go-to. If you didn't have a costume, you were just like, "Oh well, I have a bandana and a stick, so I'm good."
That was it. It was a bandana and a stick. And sometimes my father had the train conductor hat.
Yeah, right.
I had one of those. Jason, did you go as crazy things when you were a kid? Like, I mean, if somebody saw a picture of that now, they'd go, Kaler's anti-homeless. He's got to be canceled. We can't see him stand up again ever because he doesn't care about homeless people.
Yeah.
My mom was one of those handsy moms who would like build our costumes. And she, one year of second grade, and I still am traumatized for it. She made this bee costume. It was supposed to be a He-Man character, but it came out not. It was not. It was, and like, so she's probably listening. I'm just going to say, so I faked being sick so that I didn't have to walk through the school parade in the bee suit because I just didn't want anybody to see it ever.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But my mom came to the school that day and she's like, "Where's Jason? He's supposed to be in the parade." And here I was in the bathroom, like trying to hide this horrible bee costume. And then I ended up having to actually walk across the stage as this sad, pathetic bee.
Well, girls, weren't you always trying to be the sexy bee?
That's
I'm my sexy hobo.
Yeah, that's my go-to. No, I'm like, even just like as an adult or whatever, I remember, I would always go to the West Hollywood parade or whatever, and I was always freezing. So I remember one time going with a friend who was like, "This sexy kitten," and I'm like, "I'm just a frumpy mouse because I'm warm in my gray sweater and my gray sweatpants or whatever." Like, I won't sacrifice comfort for sexy.
No, I'm not saying I can't do that at all.
Can't do that.
So we have been talking about horrible injuries. Did you see that?
I saw about the nail. Yep, and your story about the nail.
She had it lance today, and I showed the video. I can't show it again. I'll show for like a second. You've seen enough. That was.
And how did her reaction compare to yours when you did it to yourself, to your toe? Remember?
I was in college.
Right.
You were intoxicated.
I was screaming way higher pitched.
Yeah.
Ee! 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 Like that, people came running into my room and they thought like a mongoose was being strangled or something.
Wait, I missed though. What was did the nurse or doctor say why they do that? Is it to release the pressure or something?
Release the pressure. Yeah. I mean, I had done it. Actually, I've done it like 4 or 5 times in my life because I played soccer in college. And so before the next nail would even grow in, some dude would step on that nail and I'd be like, oh, great, that one's coming off too. So for a couple of years, I don't think I had a nail. Like I had like that weird, gross toe where like I probably dated girls and then they saw my toe and were like, I can't.
Yeah.
Freak boy over there.
At least blame it on that.
That's what I go to. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, my penis doesn't have a nail either. And I think that might have been offsetting at times. But. What have you had horrible injuries? With your child?
Well, I was going to say no, and then I remembered, oh yeah, we had to recircumcise him.
What?
Story of the episode. Here we go.
Let's lay it on us.
It's not that bad. But like, okay, so let's just talk about that for a second. Because wait, Jason, you have boys, right?
I do, yes, all three.
Not to be personal, but did you have them circumcised?
Yes.
Okay. Me too.
I just feel like, I don't know, because I guess it was my own trauma from school, because like there was a kid who wasn't, and I just remember them making fun of it looking like an angry snake in a sweater. And so I was like, I don't want my kids to have the angry snake in the sweater mockery.
Totally. So. Yeah. And now I think it's not now it's more like 50-50 or something. But I remember that too. There was like one kid in my high school and people called him Cover, you know? So
Johnny Elephant Trunk. I bartended with a bunch of Irish guys and none of them were. And they were like, what's with you Americans? You're all cutting your...
Right. Like they don't understand, which
sometimes I wish I wasn't because it would be less sensitive, I think. I think when
it was more sensitive.
I thought it's more. I thought people,
it's more sensitive with the sheath.
That's what they tell you. Yeah.
Because
who told you that?
That's one of
everyone I've ever met.
Yeah, one of the reasons to not do it is guys will be like, you know, your sex life will be better or whatever if you don't get circumcised.
I mean, I don't know how mine could possibly feel more, but I mean, honestly, you'll
never know now.
It's been driving my entire life, has been aimed at that. Seriously, I mean, I wish I was lying, but that is it can feel better. That's what
I guess.
I mean, for me, I guess if we get to that point, it'd be like the dinosaur in Jurassic Park that launches the hood out. It'd be like that kind of a thing. So I don't even know how much more sensitive it can get. But
I
mean, how much sensitive is it going to be after 2 circumcisions? Let's.
Well, So when your babies are circumcised, with Jamie, you wouldn't know because you have girls, but you have to like, you know, it happens right after they're born, and it's like you have to put like Aquaphor. And then you have to like pull down the foreskin, and that's weird to me that I'm doing this to my son, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think I was just like a little bit insecure about it, and I'm like, wait, is someone commenting on this? Oh God.
Yeah, she wrote. Carrie is sitting here thinking, oh gosh, how did I even get here?
She's with 2 dudes talking about
But so I think like I just wanted my husband to be like in charge of that aspect. And he, you know, I don't know. So anyway, we kind of blew it. I didn't do this to my son every night.
You didn't lube it up enough.
I didn't. No. So I guess
story of my life.
The foreskin kind of like grew back, not fully, but. And so my husband was the one who I was like, it's fine. And he's like, no, it's not, you know? And so I guess it was like, I've never talked so much about penises on anything. So,
welcome to our show.
Yeah, no reaction. No.
Like the ridge rim, you know, was covered. And
I believe the rim is something else. I believe I'm going to say, Carrie, I'm going to say the rim that's not the rim. I believe we'll go with ridge. Crest, I would take crest.
I'll take crest for $400.
Crest overhang.
You guys know what I'm talking about.
The helmet.
I'm gonna go with crest.
The helmet.
But definitely not rim. I believe, as far as terminology, I believe not rim.
He
had half a mushroom.
What?
Yeah.
Like half a mushroom.
Yeah, maybe. So
It was
then,
like a German soldier had been like, his head had been caved in with a shovel on one side. Something like that? Is that close?
no, it was symmetrical. It just wasn't a full helmet. It was more like a yarmulke.
Oh, I see. He was peeking out.
Yeah.
Because some of the it was like
You know what I
whack-a-mole,
mean? Like back
and
up
the whack-a-mole got stuck halfway out, and he wouldn't go back in. He just is right there.
Well,
and it's
I don't know. I don't even. It was just that it didn't look like a circumcised penis.
No.
So we went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, it's fine. Like, he'll still be fine. I'm sure that what you were talking about, Jason, like the sensitivity thing came up. I even like ran it by some guy friends who were like, oh no, you should don't do it. Like, just he'll be kind of like in between or whatever. Anyways, we did it, and he was like 3.
Oh, I thought it was like soon after.
I can't.
No. And so, and it was like that thing where we had to go to the hospital and like an operating room. And I literally was like, I mean, he's 3, but I was still carrying him. And then I just kind of like gave him away to this nurse. And then, a little bit later, I hear him laughing. He's like talking to the nurses, drinking juice or whatever. And then I can't remember like what we had to do post-op, but I'm sure we had to do like the same kind of thing. And I guess I was better about it. But
maybe that's why he was chatting up the nurses. Maybe the nurses knew how to put the Aquaphor on. He's like, hey,
exactly.
But one more juice box and some more Aquaphor over here. Totally. That's for you.
Yeah. So that's really, knock on wood, has been his only injury. But I'll tell you this, he definitely feigns injury. And like this is a couple months ago, I guess he fell at the park or something, like not a big deal. But he told his friends that he had broken his leg. And, this is when they were in homeschool. So he could have very well, like they're only seeing from here up or whatever. And so his one friend sent him from Jenny's ice cream, literally like 12 pints of ice cream. And the card was like, we're so sorry that you broke your leg. And I'm like, Ford, you are making a video right now saying thank you and saying that you didn't actually break your leg. I was like, are you kidding me? Now you're getting gifts and you didn't even break your leg. So he's kind of like, a little dramatic.
Yeah, I would have broken the leg.
He likes ice cream. And then he's like, oh, my arm feels kind of sore.
We did get a lot of ice cream out of it. Yeah, totally.
Here's what's really funny about my daughter's thing is like my wife came home. My wife is a mess. She was just like so distraught. She had the kids. Did you hear she was in a folding chair and caught her hand in the folding chair and couldn't get it out? My wife had to figure out how to unfold the chair to get her hand out. She couldn't get her hand out. The thing was crushing it and holding it, and she couldn't pull her finger out. And my wife, trying to unfold a chair in the first place without a finger in it is, I can't do it. You're like trying to smash this thing, and my wife's like losing it. So when she came home, she was messed up. And she was like, you don't understand. It was really bad or whatever. And I go, and so I'm kind of like, I get it. Yeah, it's all good. And so finally we're quiet for a while. And I go, but luckily, let's just both admit, luckily, this happened on your watch. And she goes, she didn't even laugh. She was like, yeah, I thought about that. And I go, because if this happened on my watch, you would be destroying me right now, just repeatedly. And I never blamed her for a second. The kid doesn't, you tell the kid not to touch something, she sat on it. They told her not to touch it. But my wife, like, had I done it, she would have lit me up, It's always that way with the parents.
Yeah. Right there with you.
How does it work at your house, Carrie?
Yeah. I'm the better parent, and nothing bad would happen if I was in charge of the child. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I get that.
Yep.
What was I going to ask you? Can't remember. Oh, my Tacoma FD story. So this made me laugh so hard because Carrie wrote on Tacoma FD that I recur on, and I just got this random text from you.
You're so funny. You're so great.
Please, the writing. That's honestly one of the best shows to work on because everyone's so cool. You can talk about those guys too. You went to Colgate with Lemmy and Heffernan and the whole Broken Lizard guys.
Lizard, yeah.
And that's what I love most about that show, that it's all family, and it's really when it's kind of done best. But it made me laugh so hard because one day I think it was a text, and you were like, hey, do you play any instruments? And I'm like, what? And you're like, I'm in the writer's room like night. You play any instruments? And I go, yeah, I play guitar. And then I think you were like, guitar's not funny. Never mind. And then when I got to the show, they had me playing the steel drums.
Steel drums. I think
and I was like, I don't play steel drums. And she goes, we don't care. I go, why'd you ask in the first place then? What was the purpose of? Because I can play guitar pretty okay.
Right. I think, it was like that. Like sometimes they will find out if people do real things or whatever. I can't actually remember what we're talking about that scene, but I was just like texting you like under the table because I thought it would just like highlight you more if you were like, oh yeah, I'm a master at the triangle or something really random,
Hey, that's what's funny. I really do play guitar. And they were like, no, we don't want that.
Steel drums is random.
Steel drums is pretty funny, but I'm not a drummer. I was like, like an idiot.
They made me play the harp in Slammin Salmon.
That's so funny.
And they brought in like this woman with her harp, and she was like my trainer or whatever. But like, it was for like a fantasy sequence. And so I wasn't obviously actually going to be playing it, but the woman took it so seriously. And I'm like, no, this is a comedy. Like, it doesn't matter. I guess I need to know if I go like out and back, like, but I don't really know how to play, but
we would do that on My Boys because every scene was a poker scene. And, people would bet and just throw cards in or whatever. And then Mike Bunin would be like, dude, you would never bet there. And that guy, he plays for, everyone's like, dude, relax, chief. If they're busting our balls for who got dealt what, then they've already lost us. So we're lost. Hey, let me ask you, because we talked about Father's Day before you came on. What did you do for your husband for Father's Day?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you talk to my wife? Because did you and my wife did you plan it together?
Okay. We in general, we don't tend to be like big. Like, we'll usually justify we just bought that grill, so that'll count, right? Like that kind of, and then so Father's Day was the 20th, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sure.
Yeah, like 2 days ago, and our anniversary was the 19th.
Oh,
convenient of you, by the way, to get married on June 19th
for our anniversary. I remember the morning brunch or whatever was like on Sunday was like Father's Day, and people were watching is it the Masters?
US
whatever
Open.
The golf tournament is?
US Open.
Anyway, so our anniversary, we were like, happy anniversary. And then Father's Day, I bought him a shirt. And then Ford, who's 7, was like, I want to make Dad the biggest card. And I'm like, okay, this will be cute, And so he gets like a pretty big piece of cardboard. And like, I was all ready to help him. I know you got the farters one, and I was all, ready to help him spell and stuff. And he's like, I just want it to be a big piece of poop.
Okay.
So he just drew a big piece of poop and wrote Happy Father's Day.
That's fair.
That's what Paul got. A shirt, actually 2 shirts. Sorry, 2 shirts and a poop card.
So this year I got a shirt, a pair of pants, a golf glove, and a cornhole, like professional cornhole game.
Oh, nice.
All of which I bought myself on Thursday.
Oh, I did know that.
Gave to my wife to give to me.
That's awesome.
My kids came through. They got me a new phone.
In the chair. She threw in the chair that almost cut my kid's finger off. That was my other present, was a chair.
Wait, Jason, what did you just hold up?
My kids got me a new phone.
Ooh, what is it?
It's the Galaxy S21 Ultra, the new one.
And where exactly did they get the money to buy that for you?
Oh, I'm sure they stole it. I'm sure it's thefted, but until they start tracking the EIN number, I'm good.
Are you anti-Apple?
I can't say that I have a hard stance on it, but I've been with Samsung a while.
Because I just find in my life, I know very few people who don't have Apple.
I'm one of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm the same as you, Carrie. Anytime I see somebody who has it, I go, why are you trying to swim upstream, brother?
I know.
You know what I mean? Just all you got to do is sit in the raft and just go down river, brother. Crack an icy beer. Why are you making life so hard?
What does he? Yes, what do you do this to me every show?
It's part of the cult, and it's part of the whole thing. But it's point and click, man. It's so much. Everything's so much easier.
I don't know.
Wait, what's so much easier?
Have an Apple and having an iPhone.
Oh, like,
my iPhone and everything just sync up. They go, Jamie, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just press on.
Right.
We're gonna sync it all up.
Yep.
You go about your business.
Yep.
We're gonna ding you every month for these little charges. Don't sweat it. iTunes, hey, help yourself. As much music as you want. What do you want? You want to do Video Shop? That's an editor program. It's okay. It's a few bucks a month. We'll take care of that for you. Oh, do you want this one? It's $4 a month. It's a great game. Your kids are going to enjoy, but it's all in one, and we'll spread it out over all your things. And now you're into us for about $2,000 a month, but that's not a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
it's just interesting. I just feel like people who have, made that stance must have because you're right. It is. It's not going upstream or downstream or whatever.
I live my life by this is my theory that I'm taking with me that I am going to copyright. It's called the bare minimum plus one. I'm just doing the bare minimum plus one. That's it.
What does the plus one entail?
That's what everybody asks. What is the plus one? Be fun. That's it. Be fun. Bring a box of donuts to work that day.
Well, see, I would think, and I've already complimented you on this, but like the plus one in this situation, you got yourself a nice background. Look at where I am.
That's it. Yeah, and look, we're not broken. Oh, I painted that. It's for my kids. I painted that on the wall.
Aww.
And there's my show. You're gonna come see on Saturday.
Yeah.
On the side of a Murphy bed. But, just plus one.
But that's a plus.
Wear a suit to church. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, wear a suit to church. That's all.
Do you?
Of course I do.
Wow.
I mean,
I'm also just impressed that you go to church. I know very few people that go to church. I probably know fewer people that don't have an iPhone, but still.
We don't go to church. My kid's in a Catholic school. Oh. So honestly, and I applaud it. And if anyone, here's the two reasons. Uniforms.
Oh, I know where you go to school, and there's a lot of great people there.
It's some. No, they're all great. They're all great. They're coming to the show Saturday too. Uniforms. That was my main thing. It's hard enough to get them dressed in their uniform, but in the morning, if the kid was like, "What am I going to wear today? A JoJo Siwa shirt?" It'd be a disaster. And the other thing is, I think kids need to be afraid of something. They need fear in their life as a young person. You need something to motivate you fear-wise. And like Elf on the Shelf, Santa Claus, same, right?
Right.
God, maybe a little fear of God is not a bad thing. We all grow out of it and we go, wait, what's the point? I can do whatever I want.
Right.
But as a kid, I think it's helpful.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, something else to use. I heard a parent recently saying to their kid, like, I don't know what the squabble was. And then the parent was like, God knows if you're lying.
Ooh.
So.
My mother used to say, and I say this all the time, and I don't believe a word of it, but I always say, tell the truth and shame the devil. Have you heard that?
No.
No?
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. Yeah. My mother used to say that all the time. But she also used the word tinkle, so I don't know. I'm pretty damaged. So it's the absolute truth. I never said that before. My mother would go, like, you have to tinkle before I left?
I had, like, our friends down the street who we were with a lot growing up, they said tinkle.
You have to tinkle?
Yeah.
Jamie, you have to go tinkle before? No, but I have 4 older sisters, so try to really damage me as much as humanly possible.
My husband's parents called his appendage a ding-a-ling and his sister's a popo.
A popo? That's the first I've heard that.
I've never heard that.
I've never heard it. I've never heard either. I mean, not in like.
Oh, ding-a-ling.
Ding-a-ling I've heard.
Ding-a-ling, like, but you're being a ding-a-ling. Like, I never thought of it as a penis.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a penis. It's Chuck Berry, My Ding-a-ling. It's a famous song from the 50s.
Maybe that's why.
Is it about a penis?
Where did the word dink go? Remember dink?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, dink.
Well, we're both Boston, so we probably, we got freaking hammered and cock.
Dink made his way down into the mid-Atlantic.
I'm bringing dink back. We should make a T-shirt that says dink. I like that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Carrie, I have a question for you then. How
Yeah.
do you get your child to do anything? Do you just do what I do and just blackmail them with an iPad?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, not to give myself, credit, but he doesn't have an iPad. I'm not saying he doesn't do, but I know. But we give him a phone when we travel, and then he can watch whatever he wants. And then he has a computer. And so he just since like quarantine or whatever, he got into Roblox. So I will do it.
Oh, you told me that. Yes, right.
Yeah. So
That's
I
like
will
the
do
thing
that.
now.
Wait, how old is he?
7.
He's 7. Okay, because that's what my Hannah's 7 too. I thought we were like within a year. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So so I will do that. Like, but yesterday, wait, what was totally like he flipped it on me. Like I was like, hey, it was really just because I hadn't exercised at all. And so I'm like, if I can get him to like ride his bike while I walk, I'll feel like I can check that off my list, And so I was like, if you go on a walk with me, I'll let you watch dinner. I'll let you watch TV while you have dinner. Like that he loves when he gets to do that. Right.
I do the exact same thing.
And he was like, no, I don't want to go on a walk. And I'm like, okay, well then if you're not going to go on a walk, then when we get home, you're going to do your math because he has like math he's supposed to do over the summer, and you're going to do some reading, and then you can watch TV if you eat a good dinner. He did it. He did math and reading, so he didn't have to go on a walk with his mom.
How did that make you feel?
Yeah,
I know. I'm like, what?
I would rather paint the house, retar the roof, change the irrigation system. I'll do anything. I'm not walking with you though, lady.
I was like, okay. Yeah. So
I have to do everything in little increments of like, all right, if you like, they gave us a book for her summer.
Yeah.
Right. And so she finished the first page like the first day, and I was like, oh great, we'll fly through this book.
Right.
Hasn't touched it again.
I know.
And every day. Oh, and when the hand was hurt, I can't write. Daddy. I can't write. I was like, you can write, Chief.
But part of me feels like it is summer. Like, do they have to do all this work? But I don't know. It's like finding that balance, I guess.
It is. It's funny too, because I never once like turned to my wife and go, should they be on the iPad like that? Like what I'll do is if I see them and they're on the iPad and I don't think they should be on the iPad, you know what I do? I get them off the iPad. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife's the opposite. She parents through me. She goes, do you really think they should be on the iPad that much? I don't know. Do you? If you don't, then get them off.
Yeah, I'm good at putting like a limit on it, and he doesn't expect a lot. But then like when we just drove home for Father's Day, we were up north in Sonoma, and we drove home. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I'll let him watch a movie, and then we'll talk, and then we'll listen to a podcast and talk, and whatever. And he watched movies the whole time.
Of course he did. It's good to hear, because I feel like sometimes we're so structured that we're taking some of the spontaneity out of them. I don't know. It's just I think it's a terrible time to be a parent. I really do. Like, I just think that constant influx of social, I mean, not just on kids, but like I see it on my wife. I was doing this joke about the fact that we went, like right when the pandemic ended, we went to the beach, and it was kind of cold, but not for the kids are like stripped to their underwear and are running in the tidal pool. Like they don't care. They're not cold at all. But my wife was super cold, and she was like, okay, come on, get over. We got to take pictures. And she took some pictures of the kids on the beach. And then she sat over on the side while I played with them by the water. And we were there for like 6 minutes, and she had posted them on Facebook and then said, let's get out of here. It's freezing. And I was like, we've been in the house for a year. We're staying here. So it got ugly. Like it was a huge fight of like, go get something out of the car to stay warm. Like we're at the beach. We drove to the beach. We're here. We're doing this or something. And it was a nightmare. Just huge fight. And then at the end of the day, I got home and my friend called me. He's like, thanks a lot, dude. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, my wife saw your wife's post at the beach, and now she's like, why don't we ever go to the beach? And I was like, wow, man. It's like we're trying to live nobody's ever in the moment. Like as an improv person, I've always strived to be in the moment. It's hard. But nobody is today.
Sorry, Jamie. I tried something new recently. You know how my wife, she has a pacemaker. So I've convinced our oldest that she's part robot. And so I at 3 a.m. decided, let's just have a little 15-minute pocket of imaginary play. I woke him up and told him that an Avengers villain had taken over Mom, and that when she comes in the room, she's not really Mom. It's an evil robot, and we need to act accordingly. And she came in, and then I just kind of sat back and let it fly. It was fantastic.
Did they laser beam her to death, or what happened?
Oh yeah, well he thinks he's Spider-Man, so he's shooting invisible webs, but he's like dodging her, and she's like, Jace, what are you doing? And he's like, you're a robot. I know you're not really Mom. It was fantastic. And I thought this was okay at 3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m.
That's 3 a.m. to play a game on your. I mean,
my job's still frozen, so I was like, you know what? If I got to still be here, I'm gonna make the most of it.
Yeah, sure. 3 a.m. Wake them up.
Yeah.
One night we accidentally heated the pool. We have a pool, and I accidentally put the heater on. I didn't realize it had been on for like 4 days, and I went out one night, and I was like, it was like 9 at night, and I was like, why is there steam coming off of the pool?
Oh my God.
I put my hand in, it was like 100 degrees, and so I went and woke the kids up, and I said, if we're paying to heat the pool, you're going swimming. They were like, what, Daddy? And I go, get in your bathing suit and get in the backyard. They're like, it's pitch black. I go,
but that's awesome. They'll remember that the
fun.
time that like their dad woke them up. That's cool. I woke Ford up like whenever there was like an eclipse recently.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I woke him up at like 3 a.m. to watch that. It was cloudy. It wasn't amazing, but he still talks about it.
That's pretty cool.
See, I mean that's great.
Yeah.
One year when he's like an astronaut or something, he'll go, I always, when you see like grown people and you're like, what was the trigger in your life? And it's always such a random, weird. I remember I was with my mom at a soda fountain, and there was a magazine stand, and on the cover of the magazine stand was a weightlifter, and I don't know why it just triggered. And now I'm Mr. Universe, and you're like, really? That was
right.
There's nothing. There's never been anything in my life where I am like vision quest. I kind of do something, and when I get okay at it, I'm like, I'm bored, and I move on to the next thing. I've never had that quest. I sometimes wish I did, and I don't know if my kids definitely do not.
I mean, mine does right now in that like it's like TV driven. Like he was watching Kickin' It, which is like this. I don't know if it's Disney or Nickelodeon.
It's an older Disney show.
Older, yeah. So now he wants to do karate. You know, he's like very like, and he gets like really into something. And then I make the mistake of buying him all the things. And then it's like, you know, a couple months later, he's like obsessed with Star Wars. And I'm like, what happened to karate? You know?
I don't buy anything.
Oh, it's terrible. I have to.
That's not true. I shouldn't say that. I
was going to say, aren't you buying like a lot of craft stuff right now?
We buy stuff when they were into it. But I didn't go full bore on a couple things that I was like.
Oh, when he was
who knows?
Little, I would do that. It was, dinosaurs. Like I feel like every boy is like, and then I bought like so many dinosaurs and dinosaur pillowcases and a dinosaur Halloween costume or whatever. And now, whatever. He did the same thing with Hamilton. Super obsessed with Hamilton. He's still into it, but
that might stick with him.
Weird.
Yeah.
What were you into when you were that age? I don't remember like baseball. I don't remember having anything where I was like Tiger Woods at the age of like 1 was like golf.
Yeah.
Just golf, nothing but golf. I've never had that about anything.
But don't you think it's like the parents? Like now I'm realizing that like if I really want him to be a good golfer, I'm not saying I can make him into the PGA, but like he's late. He's late to the game. He's 7 and he's late to the game. But I should get him in golf classes, and we're gonna go to that 2-floor thing in Koreatown, and he's gonna drive every day after school. I mean, I feel like I could turn him into a golfer. Right?
I don't think you can. I don't think you can turn them into anything they don't want to. I think you can.
But
like I have a friend who's like.
But all those kids that play piano, they don't have a choice.
I actually, instrument-wise, I think you can. Yeah, you can at least make them. We've tried. She took piano lessons. I'm gonna get my daughter some voice lessons. She likes to sing. You missed it. It was an episode or 2 ago, but she did this school talent show, and it it was hard. It was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever watched she totally froze up and panicked, and they had
Was
to
it on
restart
Zoom?
like 3 times. It
In
was
person.
the whole school.
Oh,
And I'm going to get a video of it. But to her credit, she stayed up there,
Yeah.
froze twice, and then the third time sang the song. And she has a pretty good voice. I was shocked when she wanted to do it. I was like, "You're gonna do what?"
Yeah.
So I'm always like, she is driven. Like she does things that shock. I want her to do certain things, and she won't do them. And then she turns around and she's like, "No, I'm doing this," and I'm like, "Really? That's
Right.
It's just such a weird beast that you can't control. Honestly, you have to I wanted her to play soccer and she didn't want to play. So I totally poo-pooed it. It was like, oh yeah, I don't play soccer. And then all of her friends played soccer. And then she came home. She goes, how come I'm not in soccer? I said, well, you didn't want to play. And then she goes, well, I definitely want to play.
Right.
And then
That's awesome.
And then she went and she played and she wasn't, and all of a sudden the other girls were kind of pretty good because they'd been playing for a couple of years.
Right. Right.
Like, oh, I thought I would be better. And you're like, no.
And that's crazy too, that it's like, I didn't start playing, like I played lacrosse in college and I didn't start playing lacrosse until high school. And I still played in a Division I school. Now, if you haven't started by the time you're 8.
Same thing.
They start setting the bar at a much earlier age. Like when I was a kid, like if you weren't eating paste, you were doing okay. Like, and like that was the bar. And it was okay if you were terrible. And I was.
I think our parents didn't care as much. And they were just like, well, you're going to do soccer because it's on Saturday and I need something to do at that time. But it wasn't like if I said like I wanted to, do tap dance, that didn't mean I was going to do it.
Right.
I'm sure I said I wanted to do gymnastics. I never did gymnastics. I'm sure I said I wanted to I don't know, they never let me do what I wanted to do.
Well, you also went where your friends go. Like I love volleyball, but my high school didn't have a boys volleyball team. I was from New Hampshire.
Right.
And then I got to Santa Monica, and I was like, I love volleyball. Where was this when I was a kid?
Yeah.
My kids are at a camp this week, and the water polo coach is there, and I was like, oh, yeah, Manchester, New Hampshire wasn't big in the water polo world.
No.
I don't know. So you kind of do where you like lacrosse, obviously, where you grew up. That's a Northeast thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, same. No water polo, no volleyball at my school. No, they got rid of the hockey, which was very controversial.
They have everything now. That's crazy. Like the school today, when she was at camp, she goes, "Oh, we played." It wasn't on the beach, but they had a beach volleyball court, and she played beach volleyball.
Nice.
I guess
they just bring sand in. Is that how that works?
Yeah, they build sand courts and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Don't you reach a point, Carrie, where you're just like, I don't know. I don't know what I signed up for. Some days I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I have a friend who, so a girl who's in Ford's class has 2 moms and a dad.
Is that? I mean, it's a sitcom, right? It's got a. Did you write it yet or no?
No, this is my pitch. No.
Okay. All right. Let's hear your pitch.
No, but so I was talking to the dad, who I like, and I was like, you have the best thing going because you're officially their dad. You have them it's not a set thing. It's not like every other day, but it's like a couple of days during the week and every other weekend or something. And I'm like, so you get to do fun things with your kids, but then you get to give them to the moms and you're like, we're going out and pretending that we're in our 20s or 30s. It's like, I don't know. So I might need another partner or something.
So, but do you want to bring a girl into the partnership, or do you want to bring a dude in and have you be the mom and have the 2 dads?
Maybe I just need to be divorced. Not really, but it was just because I think that's the thing that it's like even going to your show, I'm like, okay, so now I got to figure out, can the babysitter come at that time so that, it's when it didn't used to be and you and I both had kids late in life, so we had it pretty good. And then now disruption, I
had a good run. I had a really good run.
Yeah.
I had a really good run. Yeah.
And it's just
because we always say the words, you're like, a lot of people go joint custody. That sounds horrible, but a lot of parents will hear joint custody and go, it's like a timeshare. That actually sounds pretty reasonable. When I see like a Mormon, I'm like, what dude would want to be married to 14 women? I would love it the other way. It was like one woman and it was like me and 5 dudes.
Right.
And we each just go, hey, it's my week. you guys go play golf, and I'll see you next week or whatever. And then we would I would go anti-Mormon in a heartbeat. I totally understand why those women go and like marry into a Mormon family where it's like one dude where you're like, you're just hanging out with a bunch of your friends. You're like, oh, I got to go sleep with, Jebediah for this week. But I'll see you guys next week. I don't know why. Jebediah. That's terrible. Sorry. No, I just got canceled. Oh, that was the end of it. Kayla got canceled with Jebediah.
Yeah.
So, Carrie, we have an opening for a host on the show. If you'd like to join me.
Yeah, Carrie's in the room. Carrie's in. Taylor's out. I don't know. I mean, it's so funny because it does take a village, and I don't know about you, but we're from the East Coast, and it's like, we don't have too much help. I've talked to friends and I said, why don't, you see these homes that are like huge homes for like, a few $1 million. And you're like, why don't we do this? A bunch of our families who have like 1 or 2 kids, we buy that house together as like a commune. And we share. We share the responsibility of it. Because honestly, I'd rather watch 6 kids one day and have 2 days off than watch 2 kids 3 days.
Right.
Yeah. I get it. I'm down with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? We got to make an app. Who do we know who can make an app right now? Let's app the shit out of this thing.
And I think it's also like we're coming off this last how many ever months of like there was no school. There was no like sending them anywhere.
Oh, you're going to hear it. Saturday night, you're going to hear an hour of it. Of but one dude with 2 children for 14 months. It's a harrowing tale. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah. I mean, it was hard with one. And
how do you think it changed, Carrie? How do you think, because obviously the reports are out. People are quitting their jobs in droves. People are moving out of the big cities. They're heading to Boise, Idaho. It's blowing up off the chart. How do you think the pandemic is going to affect parenting in the years to come?
I'm glad you have me on as a parenting expert. I don't know. It made me appreciate teachers. It made me realize that I'm actually not like, I think I'm a fine parent, but to be with someone all day, every day, no, I can't do that. Like, I never thought I was that good when he was a baby, and now it was like, I love him and love being with him because I can miss him. Like if he's gone to school and then it's exciting to pick him up and let's go get milkshakes or whatever. But like to have him around all the time and to see the behind the scenes of the learning too. And then just like getting mad, like focus, what 2 + 2 is. Like I hated myself, I was just like, it was terrible. I don't know what it's going to do to, I haven't really thought about the parenting aspect. I worry about the kids. I worry about the teenagers.
Absolutely. No, they're damaged.
Yeah.
It's going to be a seminal point in history where it's changed everything for the future. I think. I do hope in a way that, parents were so hands-on. I do see them kind of going back that way, but I feel like I was the same. Like I was with the kids all day and my wife, her job, like I was out of work. I'm an actor and a comic. So I was out of work. Right. So I watched the kids, but my wife still had her job. So she was on Zooms all day. So then at the end of the day, she'd be like, hey, we can all sit down to dinner. And I was like, no, we're not. No, my shift's over. I'm done. I was with them for 14 hours. I'm going to take my meal. I'm going to go sit quietly in front of the television. I'll probably finish the bottle of wine. And then I'm not going to make it. I'm trying to make it to tomorrow. Like every day I was like, there's a song from Martin Gore from Depeche Mode that it's all he says is, you've got to put one foot in front of the other. And I played it almost every day where I was like, and people are like, how's it going? I go, survive in advance. I had this slogan during the pandemic of like, if I could just get through today and the next day and that. And so, yeah, I think it's going to make us more hands-off. Even today, when my daughter was having that thing pierced, I was like, come on, you got this. Just do it. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you're a baby.
Right.
Just do it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to affect. Because, I mean, I get what you're saying about like the hands off, but then I also felt like parents did that like helicopter thing. And now they're like criticizing like the teachers more because they saw like how the teachers were or whatever, So it's like, I don't know.
I do agree with that. I feel like the teachers kind of got a raw deal because they were learning under pressure. We were expecting them to be like ready to rock and roll. And we're like, hey, what's up? You guys don't really have the Zoom thing down. You're like, dude, they just started this too. And some like our kindergarten teacher's been teaching kindergarten for 35 years. And then you're like, we need you to teach it on Zoom. She's like, I'm not, it's not what I do.
Yeah.
And
People
to her
are
credit,
so
she really did a
critical.
great job. Yeah.
So
They
critical.
were never trained for any of that. And a lot of them, like the curriculum and everything was changing on a daily basis of what they were expected to do. It was crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like not a lot of people gave them that credit. Like, I don't know.
They are grossly underpaid. I talk about it in my actor. I'm like, I think we now know that those people, when you're like, like they were teachers in Arizona were making like $32,000 a year. And you're like, wow, dude.
Yeah. And we were struggling just with one or two kids, you know, or Jason, I don't know how many you have, but like
3.
Okay. Your choice. But like
2 were twins. So it really wasn't a total choice.
Okay.
It was.
Well, did you have the one first and then the twins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a biological buy one get one that we couldn't pass up.
Okay. Well, but what I was gonna say is like the teacher has 20 or 30 or whatever. Like we couldn't do it with one, you know? Like
Well, and we expect our kid to be like treated special in some weird way of like, look, I know the rest of the like we all have this mentality of like, look, that's the rest of the kids. But for my kid, here's how I'd really like you to prepare lunch. Like there's a weird privilege that I see. Maybe it's, it's obviously our community, maybe a little more than most, but I do think there is a mentality of like, and I think it comes from like American Idol and all these shows where you're like, it's about branding and monetizing, and it's about the individual as opposed to like when Kennedy was like, hey, what can we do for the country? Nowadays, everybody's like, hey, what are you doing for me? Like, it's more about me. And I think that is transferred over to kids. I've done it. I've done it to my teachers, been like, in my mindset, I'm like, well, we're not going to wait around. That's for some reason I have that mentality and I gotta shake it sometimes.
Well, and especially if you're paying for school. You're, if you're going to Catholic school or private school, there's that thing where like, I'm paying for this. So,
I hadn't thought about that till now, but now I even want more. That I'm getting. I don't know. I mean, wouldn't it be great? I just haven't had, do you guys ever take like vacations without your son?
Never. I haven't. Never.
I haven't either. That's so crazy.
And it's funny because I'm actually not like, I don't like freak out about going out to dinner or something, in the before times. But we have a wedding in October. And like, ideally, I want to be away for 2 nights. And I'm like, what am I going to do with him? Like, we don't have family. Our babysitter.
We're in the same boat.
And it's like I think I'm just going to have him stay with a friend.
He's old enough now. He's old enough now.
Yeah. But it's just like, it's a bummer. And because I do friends that have like full-time nannies or good nannies or whatever, like I see them going off to whatever. I'm like, we went to Las Vegas one night, I think when he was like 2 or something. And that's it.
My buddies, every other weekend, I'm like, what are you guys doing? They go, oh, we dropped the kids to the grandparents. We're going out to Palm Springs for the weekend. I was like, I hate you. I hate you so much.
Yeah.
We don't have that. Like the one time we did go away for a big trip, we had to fly the in-laws in. We had to pay to fly the in-laws in to watch our kids for a week. And it was gruesome.
Yeah. No, I
That's
don't know.
why, seriously, why don't we should all, I really want to start like a pool of people and go like, and go like, look, you take, it's like when the guys are around the campfire with the Indians, it's like, hey, you take the first shift.
Right.
You got till 10, then I'm going to get some sleep. Like when the baby was first, up, my wife would be like, I go, look, we got to take shifts here. She's like, no. She wanted to be up the whole time. I was like, well, if you're going to be up, I'm going to bed. And then she'd be like, you're not going to bed. I was like, that's your choice.
Right.
You want to shift it. You can't make us both be up all the time. That's insane. It's not.
We did shift. We did the shift thing too.
My wife just wouldn't.
Okay, back to Jebediah. What happens with Jebediah? Like if one of the moms, wives, one of the wives and Jebediah are going to go away, does another one of the wives take their kids?
You know what? Yes, of course she does.
Yeah,
it's a village.
It feels like that's inherently just written into the contract.
I would agree with Jason on that one. I feel like
Yeah.
that's inferred.
So, I mean,
honestly, that would be a
they
great
might
way
have-
to do it too. Like, we know a lot of women who want to have one child, right? Just one. So
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
don't we all as a group, I'll sire the children, obviously. And then what will happen is we'll all just get a big house down by the beach, and then
Mhm.
we'll take shifts. I don't know. It's all
Don't put me in charge. Don't put me in charge of the circumcision recovery.
No, your circumcision recovery.
Noted.
I would argue that I would say the Moyle may not have done the first one. Maybe he was a little tentative on his first cut, and he didn't really get what he had to get.
It wasn't a Moyle. I think a Moyle is only if you're Jewish.
Oh, it is a Moyle. No, you're right. That's right. You're right. That's absolutely right. Yeah, but you know, a guy with
I will
Moyle
say
like
the doctor
skills.
was Jewish. But, oh,
Maybe you needed a Moyle. Maybe Moyles are like, hey, you know, what are you doing? You went off brand. I don't know how. It's what I do for a living. It's the only thing I do.
But I've also heard that they just like do a little cut like for show, and then they take the kid to the doctor.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm not Jewish. Yeah, I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's why when I was a young guy, I was like, why is this, why did this happen? And I didn't understand it until then I got old and they go, oh, that was just a thing they did back then.
Well, now you know you were robbed.
I don't think breastfeeding was a big thing back then either. I think it was a lot of formula.
Right. I think you're right. Yep.
Especially as an Irish Catholic, I think that's like, that's too personal. We should just.
Also, didn't you have a lot of kids in your family?
I'm the youngest of 6, yeah.
Yeah. So like your mom was busy.
Yes, she was busy. Yes,
yeah.
Did you always, I mean, was that your plan from day one of like, all right, I want one kid, or I want kids, or were you kind of?
I mean, I was never like that person that's like, I want to get married and have kids right away, you know? And
you're also working. I mean, it's tough in this town as you have a career, you know, it's really tricky.
Yeah. And I also like have always thought that I'm younger than I am. And then it was like, oh, well, I'm 40. Or, you know.
Wait, what? You were way younger than that.
And in my mind, I think I wanted 2. And we actually like had infertility crap. And we actually used a surrogate for Ford. And so then it was like, it was just not in the cards to have more. Yeah. So we just have one spoiled kid.
I would like to start a surrogate father program where there's just a surrogate dad on like certain like 3 days a week. Maybe that's how we do it, you know? But
that's not really, oh, okay. Having nothing to do with the sperm, just you want a manny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I got the terms wrong. Yeah, it's a manny.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, we flew through this. We've already gone.
Yeah, we're over like usual.
We always say we're going to keep it tight, and we never are. Talk about, so you're done with Tacoma. Are you done with Tacoma FD? You're going back for next season? Or they haven't been picked up yet?
Well, you know what? So when we were talking about like the pandemic and everything, and so what happened to me was I was terrible homeschooling. And so that was like March. And then in my mind, I was like, you know, I remember at that time we were like, we're never going to work again on anything. No one's ever going to film anything. And so I was, you know, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to start pitching an animated show because that's the only thing that's going to happen. And then kind of landed in my lap that in May, the Great North could hire one more writer. And so they offered me that job. And I was like really conflicted because of course I wanted to go back to Tacoma FD. And then, but then talking to Kevin and Lemmy, they didn't know when or if they were going to go back, and it would have been at the end of the summer. And this was like almost a year of work, and so it was like I just had to take it. And I mean, I'm so glad I did. It was super fun to work on. The staff is awesome, but of course, I miss Tacoma FD too. But
where's the Great White North coming?
It's just the Great North, Jamie.
I'm sorry. The Great North. Honestly, I'm super tired. My daughter was up all night.
The Great White is a shark, but the Great North is Alaska.
I thought the Great White North was the two dudes with like coo 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 coo. What's his name? Bob and Doug McKenzie from the Great White North.
Oh,
SCTV.
maybe.
That's
But were they like Minnesota?
Well, they were Canadian, but was I saying what they? Wow, this devolved quickly. Did you feel it?
Yeah, definitely. People were on the edge of
The
those seats.
Great North can be seen where?
Well, it's on Fox, but now you can see it on Hulu, which is the first season. I joined for the second season, which I guess will air in the fall.
Okay.
And then we're starting up with the third season soon.
And are you doing new episodes of the podcast?
And new episodes of the podcast. We're going to take a little bit of a break over the summer, but we try and do like one every other week. And we just raised $60,000 and we were able to award scholarships to a bunch of deserving inner city kids from Boston, which was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
I remember that whole forced busing. It's such an interesting, when I saw that was what you were doing, the premise of the forced busing thing, I thought it was brilliant. Really, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, especially now with like our lens now to look back on it. Cause you know, we were told as like the white kids that like, it was this amazing thing we were doing for the Black kids to let them come to our school, you know? And it was just already like,
such a weird standpoint.
We could never be equal if it's already like, I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah.
You know, so
you can sit here, sit over there. I mean, don't touch my stuff, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to invite you to my birthday, but
no, God,
class.
No.
Yeah,
but you can still read off the blackboard and sit in the.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
I never thought about it because I remember that when I was a little kid. I mean, I was in New Hampshire, so we had like 2 Black kids in my whole school. That was it.
Yeah,
and they were the best athletes. Any content and running content. They went on to set like state records. They were awesome. They were really great guys. But I often thought about like how hard that must have been for them to go through school like that as the only 2 kids in that situation. It must have been very unique. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, I grew up, in a weird place of like I didn't know that was, and that's why most of the people who still stay in that town, they don't know any different, but I kind of left and I went off and saw the world and I was like, oh, that place is a little unique.
I know. It's so fascinating. And now it's like, I look at my son's class and he has like,
me too,
a lot more diversity, and I know they're still young, so they don't really know, but like, I'm just hoping that he has a much more, colorful experience and just knows lots of different people for different reasons. Whereas me, I had never worked with a Black person until my mid-20s, like not at anything, not at like lifeguarding, anything. And it's the same person that I'm doing the podcast with. We ended up working at a talk show together.
Oh, that's cool.
That's amazing.
But like my parents didn't have any, minority coworkers. I mean, it was like super white.
Well, I don't think I worked with anybody Black until 2008.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like 2008 at a Blockbuster Video.
Wow. Do you still have your uniform?
I do somewhere.
It's probably
because I feel like that would be like a collector's item, right?
It's like Smithsonian stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do still have it somewhere.
It is true though. Like the kids don't learn hate. I mean, it's crazy. If they're brought up in a certain way where they are empathetic and opening towards anything out there. And also I just think it's much more colorful and flavorful to have different types of
and then that like if a kid does say something derogatory or to a person of color or whatever, it's coming from the parents because the kid internally doesn't, they've heard the parents say something,
It's always that way. Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right, listen, we got to wrap this thing up. Huge thanks to our friend Carrie Clifford for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Every time we have the best shows we have are with moms. Anytime it's a train wreck. The moms are always the voice of reason. They're like, no, you two are idiots. And
no, I don't think you guys are idiots at all. And like, Jason, I don't know you well, but I mean, Jamie, I love, you always have like such great parent stories and like your pictures. And it seems like you're an awesome dad. I mean, get over the
We'll
Father's
see.
Day thing, you guys. It's not that big of a
I'll
deal.
see you Saturday, and you'll hear the dark underbelly of the whole thing. So, let's give Carrie a big hand. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, come back anytime.
Okay,
Yes,
thanks,
please.
guys.
That was a fun one, dude.
Yeah, that was fantastic. She's
the
amazing.
best. She's great. She's so
great.
I know. So we should do one where we bring her, Claire, Kate Casey, and it's just all the moms. And then
Kate Mulligan, grab Kate Mulligan.
They run it.
I would love that. Yeah. And you and I just sit back and watch.
So, do you want to tell everyone we have a couple of live shows coming up in September?
I do. So September 25th, the Parents Lounge is coming live. Mr. Jamie Kaler and I will be performing together in Sayre, Pennsylvania for the Parents Lounge stand-up comedy with us. What should they expect, Jamie?
Just a great fun evening. Honestly, it's all about even the show I'm doing this weekend. It's all about, I told the parents, I said, listen, man, this is your night out. Just enjoy it. Have fun. Come laugh. That's what it's about. And so I'm going to be doing a bunch of stand-up. We're going to do some sketches. We'll do some goofy stuff. And
we're going to interact with the audience. We might do some live interactive stuff that I think is going to be
live
fantastic.
interaction with some audience members. But we've talked about it many times. And the truth is that we are better when there are moms involved. So we might need a local mom to come be involved with us. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I know Michelle's already reserved her ticket. She's a weekly watcher, so she's ready to go. So
she might have to be awesome. One of our moms who comes on stage. We'll see.
Also, before I forget, we got a new logo pictured here. Tony over at PNC Designs designed this amazing new logo for us. And just wanted to give him a shout out for his fantastic new work.
I was like, you showed it to me. I was like, that's awesome. It's got the microphone. It's got the whole shebang. So, I mean, the whole thing about this show for me has always been about taking our moment as a parent to enjoy our life, But I mean, because it's it is a grind. Like today was pretty brutal with that kid trying to get her nail pierced. I mean, it was hours of my life. And it hurt. It hurt to watch your child go through unbelievable pain.
She's not even mine, and it was hard to watch.
I know, it's super hard. I can't. I honestly, I don't know. I might be ashamed I showed it. But it's life, and it's what we're all dealing with. So it's kind of nice for everyone to kind of take a respite and sit back and go, look, I'm a human too. I'm trying to get through this thing and enjoy life as much as I can, as well as be a parent. So every time I talk to other dads out there, I see what they're going through, and it always makes me feel a little bit better, which I think is why we always try to be so honest about what we're doing so that other people can see and go, oh, no, it's a rough grind for everybody. So it is.
That might be the most common thing I hear when from people, that approach me or message about the show, and they say, I really love your candidness about your children and what you're going through as parents. I totally relate. That's the number one.
The honesty, baby. It's all about the honesty. And that's what I always am amazed when I see people and they go, it's going great. Everything's fine. There's no problems. And you're like, yeah, you're the biggest trouble. Usually the people you have to vent, you have to vent to get it off your chest. So yeah, so I always kind of share it. Super fun one tonight, man.
Let's, absolutely.
Say goodnight. I'm gonna have a little din, and we'll see everybody next week here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.